All right. I added another card, and this one is the whole enchilada, meaning that we've got all the details that you need, and you're right on the money. So if it comes out, it will just be like a confirmation of whatever that's being said in the reading or the story is accurate. Or on point, or, however it works in. It's funny, I had started shuffling in the video before this one, and I stopped it because I remembered I had the other card, and the way that I remembered I had the other card was like, oh, there's just so many cards in here. And as I was thinking there's so many cards in here, I was like, wait, there's one more. The show is free, folks. Okay, let's get into it. Bottom of the deck, we have the bus splitting the deck. You've got the number 7. And the monster. Since it was under the 7, you know how we do it. The spiritual monster, the money, the finances, the gifting, the shedding of the skin. Someone got thrown under the bus, perhaps. And I have a motto. People don't throw people under the bus. What the person did is what throws them under the bus. Right? Okay, here we are. Do I have these backwards? I sure do, but I wanted to go with this one first. So because that one wanted to come out first, I'm going to go ahead and pull it. It's the poison card, and it's coming in right before the croc. So there's a crocodile in the mix, full of crap. Maybe someone is poisoning the croc or the pirate. Maybe there's a pirate who's full of croc. Right? A thief. I mean, is that surprising that a thief would be full of crap? No. Something's coming to the surface, whatever, you reap what you sow, right? So, I mean, someone planted the seed and it's starting to sprout. We've got the pushed out. Maybe the seed that was planted was regarding pushing someone out of their environment or where they live. Maybe the evidence of that is coming to the surface. Whatever stories this pirate was, the tales that he was telling, or she was telling, people are realizing, you know what, that's just, feed it to the crocodiles, why don't you? We've got the number 8. It is a masculine action. It is also the infinity symbol. Could have been something that started in the month of August as well. Could have been going on for 8 years, 8 months, 8 weeks. It could be going on for another 8 days, 8 weeks, 8 months. We've got the peace card, number 12. Adds up to a 3, the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. It's also the number of peace, right? I forgot the little light again. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Together, the 8 and the 12 is a 20, so there's a decision that's going to need to be made here on the horizon. Could be August 12th. Could have been something that pertains to the time frame of 8 and 12, so between August and December even. We've got crow, could have something to do with some crows. Maybe someone talks to crows or are in relation with crows. Oh, 8 to 12 crows. 8 to 12 crows, number meaning is, oh, I can't see. Nine, it's, you know, I cannot see it. I will put it in the description. That's a bummer, but it's, I saw a birth of a new something. And I can't see it. I can't see it. Why does it seem like there's a lot less light than before? And you know, I still don't have any idea how the color change happened in the last video. And I find it's really interesting that that showed up on a video where we were talking about adding some color to it, and adding to color had came in several times in the story. So for that to have came out that way or saved that way, I don't know how it happened, is really kind of interesting. Yeah, I can't read any of that, so I apologize. I hope it doesn't change the story too much. But we've got 7 cards out. I think we'll just stick with 7. Maybe I'll leave these cards out and go over them again tomorrow. I don't know. We've got the penguin. Someone is going off on their own. They hit an iceberg. Maybe someone's eating crow, and they want to come in and offer an apology or a truce, or, I mean, a truce is only if 2 people are really involved in the situation, right? Going at each other. And this could be a story where there are 2 people who are actually going at it. I don't know. They could just be fighting themselves. The penguin will get I'm sure you've heard this. A penguin, when he finds a little significant other, he'll get a little pebble and he'll bring it to the significant other. And if that penguin accepts it, then they're an item, they're a match, right? The reason why I picked the penguin card is I heard a very interesting story about the penguin. Some of them, all of a sudden, the penguin will go rogue and everyone will be marching around in a group. And all of a sudden, one penguin will just kind of turn around and walk away from the group. Never to be seen of again from these, I was going to say from these people, but from this group. So maybe there's someone who really wants to live a life of peace. Maybe it's the pirate who's deciding that they want to live a life of peace, and they're getting pushed out of their little group. Walking the plank, so to speak. Oh, wow. I was just thinking about Captain Hook, and in that movie, well, that was Peter Pan, right? And in that movie, they were having people walk the plank, and there was the crocodiles underneath the ship. So maybe if someone is wanting to leave a group of people who participate in pirate stuff, they're making this person walk the plank. Maybe they want to grow a better life. Maybe they want to grow something more productive, more nurturing, more earthly. You know what I mean? More like down to earth. And maybe they're getting pushed out because they don't want to be that same person. I don't know. I don't know, but we've got the penguin, and my initial thought was the pebble. So let's go with the pebble idea. Maybe this person wants to bring a pebble to someone. We'll see what the rest of the cards are. We've got the 5, which is the number of change. Could be a 5th house. Could be May. We've got a lot of numbers. I was going to say, wow, does that add up to 12? That would be interesting. But we do have a 7 on the table, and that kind of, when we add the 7 and then the 20 together, it does add up to the 7. So we're dealing with a balanced situation at this point. Rose-colored lens. Whoever this is walking away from this group is definitely wanting to see things through more rose-colored lenses. Worm. Now, worms are used to attract fish. Worm could also mean like trying to worm your way into like somebody's life or somebody's computer program. This worm looks like it's just hanging out. A worm is bait. Maybe whomever this rose-colored lens wearer is bait. Taking a peek. Being a singular person, looking out and looking at the world in a different way, in a different light. It could be a nosy neighbor. Someone could be looking for the key to open this door, but if it's a shut door, it's a locked door, leave it locked. If you have the key, fine, but if you don't have the key, then just leave the door locked. Maybe the worm is trying to worm its way in through a locked door. Detox. Apparently, we have a lot of worms in our body. And that's why, biblically speaking, people shouldn't eat pork. Because I guess I've seen some of the stories that pork, when you pour soda on some raw pork, you can see the little coming out of the meat. I've never done it myself. I've just seen it happen on the video. So we've got the peace and the detox. So detoxing for sure would bring peace, but of course you do have to go through the time period where any of the parasites or worms or anything like that are dying off. It does make you feel sick. So if you are going through some kind of detox program, then you want to be mindful of that. Someone could be detoxing from being a selfish individual where they just really kind of were focusing in on themselves, trying to bait people in, trying to make it seem like they're this nice person. The penguin also lives in a very cold environment, and maybe the cold environment is what is changing. The cold and thieving environment is changing for something that's a little bit more caring and loving. Worms are very nutritious for fish. They really like them. It's some treat, right? And maybe they're looking into doing this whole detox idea. They're just juggling with the idea right now, tossing it around. Maybe they're just kind of considering the idea. I mean, the generation after generation after generation, right? Maybe they've seen it. Are you listening? Can you hear me? They're juggling with the ideas of what they heard. Maybe there's something to that, right? Maybe there's actually something to what someone is saying. Whomever this someone is. Exchange. Now that was my swap card or switching card, right? We've got pineapple. This pineapple is a gift for the Chinese New Year. It's supposed to be a really nice gift to give somebody. It's for prosperity and finances. There's a little crown that the pineapple wears. It's very sweet. If you eat too much of it, it will give you some mouth sores, though. I learned that one year when I was a kid at Disneyland. That was not fun. It's welcoming. It is hospitality, friendship, luxury, and wealth. It came from South America between Paraguay and Brazil. Right? The crown of green leaves. I almost want to just color that crown in. Facial hair. Someone's growing. They're growing this idea. Interesting how we've got the exchange underneath the 5, which is change, right? They want to switch it out. We've got a vehicle or an automobile. So that's going to be a car. And I did that because I realized that I didn't have a car in the deck. I did have the bicycle and then I had the carriage. But I'm like, well, what if it's a car? So let's see. And it's a faster mode of transportation than a bicycle is. So it's pretty good moving, right? 60 to 120 miles per hour. That's pretty quick. Sunny side. Maybe it's going to have some sunroof. Maybe someone's traveling to come see somebody and they'll be there in the morning. I mean, you can have breakfast any time of day if you ask me. We've got gloves on. Now, are these boxing gloves? Are these warming your hand gloves? Are they weightlifting gloves? Someone wants to fight and take the plunge. Someone's traveling in a car. Whomever's wanting to do the switch up and change from being a pirate into maybe a nice person, and they're doing a switch up. Maybe they're coming to see someone, as I said. Maybe they're going to ask someone to go to breakfast. We've got dimensions. People being on different dimensions. There's the third dimension, or there's the third dimension, the fourth dimension, like 3D, 4D, 5D. They've really evolved. They've really evolved. So the third dimension is the human, right? The fourth dimension is the low density entities, and then it progressively goes up as far as the spiritual stuff. Spirits are said to exist in the 4th to 9th dimensions. So your guardian angels are said to be in the 8th dimension, I think. The 7th dimension is pure consciousness and your crown chakra enlightenment. That's where the guardian angels start. And then you progressively get up with the 8th and 9th dimensions, and you're getting into the more higher consciousness angels and spiritual stuff. So maybe this person took a plunge into learning about different realms and different dimensions of things, and maybe that's what caused them to want to not be this thieving pirate person who's a crock. You know what I mean? Bearing the fact that they were pushing someone out or they got pushed out. We've got the studio. A curvy person. Maybe there's different dimensions of what has happened in this studio. This is the spring to the summertime, and then we've got the summer to the winter time going on there. A green exterior with that green color, that's a healing color. Emotional hydration, fertility, abundance, prosperity, again, refreshment and hydration, community, hospitality, togetherness, joy, heart outside, sweet inside. So maybe we've got 2 hospitality and prosperity cards. We've got the candle, got a little flame there, blow it out, make a wish. Ooh, they might be having to take a gamble, throwing the dice on it. We've got the web. Trying to, it's a trap, right? They're luring someone. Maybe they're wanting someone to think that they're all making this change. A snake shedding their skin, they're still a snake, right? So we've got that snake behind the 7 over there, and if it's shedding its skin, it's still a monster. There's no one driving the bus, and the bus is to transport kids. There's rules on the road about the bus. You have to stop when a bus is present. Got the spider web. A mirror, someone's trying to reflect. Rolling the dice about this trap. It's a trap, folks. So okay, we've got the detox and we've got the toxic up there, right, with the poison. So someone is still a toxic person and they want someone to believe that they've grown. So they're trying to switch it up. They're still fighting for whatever this is that they're using for whatever it's not supposed to be used for. They're using it for something else. They took a plunge into the dimensions, into learning perhaps about the different dimensions and the guardian angels and how all that works together. We're in the winter right now, and spring is on its way, and that's where the watermelon comes in. So maybe this whole production thing that they're doing is going to be lit here. The gamble is going to transpire. They're going to set up their web. And they're going to reflect everything it is that they learned. All right. We got Mermaid coming out next. That's interesting because it goes with our little